Okay, so good morning everyone. So I'm currently here at Ateneo de Zamboanga University. So of course, this is one of the premier universities in Zamboanga City. Oldest universities in Zamboanga, one of the oldest. And I think the only Jesuit university in Western Mindanao. So, but in terms of its founding year, this is one of the oldest universities compared to private universities in Zamboanga City. And well, the reason why I'm here, it's because I have an ID. So I'm a part-time faculty before, and so I think that of course I always feel good whenever I visit Ateneo de Zamboanga University. For one, this is the best library that you can find in Zamboanga City in terms of resources, in terms of the ambience. This is really a library. You can even access their journal collections, their internet collections. And so I'm here to blog as promised last night. So I'll be vlogging one of the short stories of Jeffrey Archer. So Jeffrey Archer is one of the great writers of short story, and that I've read more or less I think 3 short stories, and I kind of know his writing style. But for this last night I was browsing 4 short stories. I was considering 4 short stories browsing, and then this one really caught my attention because of the writing style. Same writer, but then this Archer's last night I was browsing. This was the 4th short story that really captured my attention. Why? Because when I read first of all the title, first miracle, and then when I read the introduction, it's only one sentence, and the introduction is just very simple. Tomorrow it would be 180, but nobody had told it. So what is 180? That's a year, right? So AD for other people might think that it's AD is after death. Actually, it's not. It's Anno Domini, right? Anno Domini is a Latin for this is the year when Jesus Christ was born. Hence, it's 1 AD. So somehow, when I read this last night, I was thinking, okay, so what is this? Is this some sort of a flashback technique? Is it really the real setting that the author was trying to project? And in fact, that's a good strategy because once you read that part, it's like arresting your attention, and then you want to know whether this really is a setting. And so you continue on reading, right? So now, okay, so reading first or 180 led me to choose this short story for my blog. Okay, so I'm sorry, it's moving, camera is moving because of the table. The table is shaking. Right, so basically, the short story in terms of writing style, as again, Archer is known for his being pragmatic writer. So he would be including dialogues that are really very relatable, very pragmatic, words that readers can relate. It's like whenever you read the dialogues, it's like you're an eavesdropper listening from the outside, then listening to people talk. It's like really real dialogues that you're listening to people talk. It's like you're an eavesdropper. That's the technique of Archer. And so the point of view is third person. One advantage of the third person is that he is from the outside, then telling the story. He is from the outside, then looking at people talk. It's third person is like situating the reader from his point of view, and that I think is one of the advantages of third person. And for me, for this particular short story, he was effective in situating me like I'm seeing what he is seeing, in terms of, okay, for the third paragraph, you would see that immediately there's a description of who the boy was. So the main character is a boy. He was a 13-year-old boy, and he was a naughty boy. And his favorite fruit, his desire, was pomegranate. That was his favorite desire in the whole world. So that's he just want to eat pomegranate. But then once he ate the pomegranate that was intended for his father, and so the father became furious about him eating the favorite fruit also of the father, and so he was leathered. So leathering or leathered is like spanking. So he experienced a spanking because of that. And so the father was implementing corporal punishment or physical punishment. And so there is some sort of an interplay of relationship between father and son, father and son. So at this early stage of the short story, you would see, okay, so the dynamics of father and son. So what type of son, 13-year-old son was he? He was a typical boy who was naughty. And then the father was kind of a dictator or disciplinarian, brought about by his military background. So the father here was a Roman soldier, and he was addressed as a father or pater. And so you would see that here clearly the father was a disciplinarian, because he was it wasn't mentioned that he was a general, but he was holding a high ranking position. And so one day the mother said, okay, so you have to go to the market and buy uh, supplies of food, meat, and then vegetables, fruits. And one of the fruits that the mother requested was pomegranate. And so he was really eager to go do marketing because of that. And so out of his going out of the house and then do marketing, when he was walking, some sort the storytelling became more of like situating us to see also who the father was. The father was named Marcus. So Marcus was, I think, in history, was one of those popular Roman rulers, soldier, high-ranking official, who was carrying the task of the emperor with loyalty and honesty. But then the boy was not leading to become a soldier. He was into the language of law. That was the description of the father and the son. And so basically, alright, so at this early point in time, you would already know that, alright, so the setting is that this was 180, and then we are looking at the boy who was the son of a Roman ruler, soldier. And that there's certain fear in terms of his dealings with his father. But then, when he was there, strolling along the villages where the market was, after buying the goods, on his way home, he was looking at on his way home, he met a fat lady who was in a donkey. The fat lady was on a donkey, and that he tried to help the lady, the fat lady. Then after that, he assisted the fat lady. The description was fat lady. So you might think, why fat? So that was my question also. And so when he assisted the lady, after assisting the lady to the stable, he gave the the pomegranate, his desire for fruit, the pomegranate. He actually gave his possession, the food, to the lady. And so the description was she was having a very fair skin, a translucent skin. And then with the lady was uh, was the man with a beard, was wearing ragged clothes. You'd see that somehow there's a inequality of perception in terms of there's social class here in terms of description. Like, people, villagers would look at the boy as someone who was different in terms of skin, in terms of his clothes. But from the point of view of the boy, that bearded man, the man with the beard, who was wearing ragged clothes, was definitely from the Jacob's clan. You'd see, so there's distinction in terms of classes. If you're a Roman, then you're rich. But if you're a Jew, but the word Jew was not mentioned. Only that it was confirmed that they were Jews because on his way home again, almost he met the kings. The kings were looking for the newly born child who was named as a king also. And then he argued with the kings that it can't be, it's not possible because there's only one king. And Bethlehem is not a place for kings. So we cannot also blame the boy because he only argues on the basis of what he knows, what he perceives to be according to what his parents taught him. And so, what's the end of the story? Of course, so you're nearing the climax. So, from this point, when he met the kings, I think as Christians, you would already know that somehow that fat lady was pregnant and that was Mary, right? But there's no mention about Mary. There was mention about the kings. And somehow, in terms of the strategy of writing here, somehow if you're a Christian, you can already predict. So we are inching closer to the climax. So what now? When he went home, as a reader, you're already predicting that he will be punished again. And in fact, that was what happened. Father spanked him with the leathering. He again felt the pain of leathering. And so it was very painful. And then the mother was crying. And then what happened was the mother comforted him and applied olive oil and ointment to uh, see that the injury or the bruises will be healed. Right? So, but then, to her surprise, when she checked the area, nothing happened. With the intense leathering, nothing happened. So the skin of the boy was still intact. Nothing happened. There was no pain. And in fact, that was the first miracle. And so the question now is, who was the boy? Who was the boy? The last word in the short story was Pontius. So in fact, the little boy was Pontius. See? So the first miracle wasn't in this short story. The first miracle was not in Cana, where Jesus turned the water into wine. It wasn't. In this short story, the first miracle, the first recipient of miracle was Pontius Pilate. And of course, we all know who Pontius Pilate was. He was the one who washed his hands. He was responsible for condemning Christ to death, right? But you can see that somehow there's certain goodness in people, right? there's always certain goodness in people, even if whether they are Romans or Jews. You'd see that it was out of his own volition to give his food, even he knows the consequences of that. As a little boy, he gave the food, he gave the supplies to Mary and Joseph because he knew then that they need it more than them, right? But then he knew also the consequence of punishment. So, what can I? Alright, so what then is really the beauty of this whole story? Beauty here is the miracle. You know, God does not choose people whom He will bless. And sometimes we question why is this certain individual being blessed? Why not this person? Why not I? Maybe that's the very question that we ask ourselves always. Why does this person deserve a miracle? And maybe this is the mystery of life. And so I hope that you like the blog. For any questions, please comment in the comment box. And thank you for always following me at applylingo611.blogspot.com. Thank you for clicking this blog. For my part 2, I'll be blogging the surroundings later. I'll show to you where I play soccer. So later. Bye.